Great buildings in Forge of Empires. In today's clip, I will provide to new players a first imagination of which great buildings are useful, which are a must-have, and which you should avoid. One thing upfront. Do not invest too many forge points into the Oracle of Delphi. You better use them for other great buildings. In Forge of Empires, you can put great buildings into 5 groups. First, battle support. Second, production support. Third, city defense. Fourth, population. Fifth, others. Great buildings for battle support. For collecting blueprints, I recommend all players to do guild hopping before you decide for a guild. Demonstrating how this works, I previously published a separate video on this. That video is linked in the upper right corner. The goal of every fighter should be to complete a full set of blueprints of the statue of Zeus and to build this. Once you completed that great building, join a guild, playing at least level 3 of the guild expedition on a weekly basis. Investing forge points into the statue of Zeus also makes sense if your progress in the technology tree is suffering as a result. The benefit is that you will succeed in level 3 of the guild expedition every week. Nothing in this game is more profitable than this. As soon as the statue of Zeus is placed, the next goal is to build the Cathedral of Aachen. You should collect the required blueprints via support chains of other members of your guild. As soon as you have the necessary goods and blueprints to do so, build the Cathedral of Aachen immediately. Do not wait until your statue of Zeus reaches level 10. Instead, switch between both great buildings and always concentrate on the level that requires less forge points. Get both great buildings, Statue of Zeus and Cathedral of Aachen, up on level 10, but definitely not above. If you develop slower because of investing into your great buildings, this is absolutely acceptable as long as you succeed to complete level 3 of the guild expedition every week without negotiating much. Possibly you find the guild unlocking level 4 of the guild expedition, even if you only make progress on level 4 by negotiating. This is a very good investment. When you have time to do so, build the Temple of Relics. Most players are already in the high Middle Ages when they do so. Initially, level 1 of the temple is absolutely enough. If you have to pause in the technology tree, just invest your forge points into your Temple of Relics. Beside that, this has no priority because already in late Middle Ages, your goal will be to build the Castel del Monte. I do not recommend to trade forge points for goods much earlier for it. Instead, you should make progress in the technology tree as each age delivers more expansions. Your city has to grow, it needs a lot of space. In the colonial age, you might want to stop for a while in the technology tree to also get Castel del Monte on level 10. In this development pause, you can increase your stock of goods and supplies. The next big goal is to reach the progressive era to build the Alcatraz. Latest with the Alcatraz, a fighter should be able to successfully complete level 4 of the guild expedition every week. Only in the case of rare exceptions you should negotiate. It takes until the Arctic Orangery from the Arctic Future and the Kraken from the oceanic future to improve your troops' strength further. Until these ages, only event buildings can add to the successful set of Statue of Zeus, Cathedral of Aachen, Castel del Monte and Alcatraz. Great buildings supporting your economy. The worst building for a fighter is the Lighthouse of Alexandria. No, this is not because it was a bad building, but because this is a fairly good building. But every forge point a fighter invests into the lighthouse will slow him down in his development. Fighters don't need a lighthouse. Fighters make their way easily until industrial age without such a building. Those who complete the guild expedition every week without negotiating neither are short of goods nor of supplies. After the Iron Age guild hopping, tradespeople built the Lighthouse of Alexandria instead of the Statue of Zeus. The Babel Tower and the Colosseum are a waste of forge points. Nobody needs these great buildings. Better you concentrate your investment in one good great building than having many on level 1. Also, the trader needs space, a lot of space. He builds more good productions to negotiate through the guild expedition. There's no reason why tradespeople should not receive the nice rewards of the guild expedition. Neither fighter nor trader should waste their forge points for great buildings like Hagia Sophia or the Frauenkirche of Dresden. I highly recommend for both traders and fighters to build the Royal Orbit Hall in the Industrial Age. To move through the following ages without the support of that building is more difficult than necessary. And invest in at least level 5 of the building is very profitable. Great buildings for city defense. As demonstrated in my separate clip about city defense, having St. Basil's Cathedral and Deal Castle is a very effective element of a city defense. But I cannot recommend to build these. They consume a lot of space in your city and they slow down your development significantly. It might be a conflict with your ego, but losing occasionally to plunderers is less expensive than constructing these two great buildings. Great buildings for population. For fighters, I highly recommend to enjoy the contemporary era. Never again will it be so easy to complete level 4 with fighting only. In this era, fighters as well as traders can construct the Innovation Tower to reduce the required space for residential buildings significantly. Afterwards, there is no reason to construct the Habitat. In the contemporary era, players should make their decision whether or not the Ark or the Chateau Frontenac are according their style of playing the game and make their plans accordingly. Those players who made their way to the contemporary era are above the level of this beginner level video. Therefore, there is no reason for me to warn of great buildings like Gaia statue, the Seed Vault or the Lotus Temple. There's no need to prove that investing your stock of coins into a Cape Canaveral can be a good idea, that the Dynamic Tower often does not be a good decision and the Voyager V1 is not profitable at all. This is a bit too much for a beginner level video clip. I have described things very strict. If I would consider all aspects, this video would last hours. On one side, I know that this way leads to success. On the other side, I also know that there are many other possible ways through this game. Many roads lead to Rome.